The rain hammered against the windows of my Chicago apartment, mirroring the storm inside me. Bertram, a 44-year-old architect, stared at the divorce papers on my desk, the stark white a brutal contrast to the warm, inviting home I thought I had. A home I had built, brick by brick, with Willow, my wife of 15 years. We met at a design conference in Barcelona. I was immediately drawn to her vibrant energy, her infectious laugh, and her sharp intellect. She was a landscape architect, and we bonded over our shared passion for creating beautiful spaces. We married 2 years later, settled in Chicago, and built a life filled with love, laughter, and the quiet comfort of companionship, or so I thought. The first crack appeared subtly, almost imperceptibly. Willow started working longer hours at her firm, citing a major new project. She was often distant, preoccupied, her usual warmth replaced by a weary silence. I attributed it to stress, offering her massages, cooking her favorite meals, and trying to lighten her load. I was a supportive husband always. Then came the unexplained expenses on our credit card statement. Fancy restaurants, expensive hotels, all charged to Willow's account. When I confronted her, she dismissed it as client dinners and business trips, her eyes avoiding mine. I wanted to believe her desperately, but a nagging doubt gnawed at my insides. The final blow came unexpectedly. I was working late one night trying to meet a deadline for a major project. I needed a file from Willow's laptop, which she rarely let me touch. She was at a conference in Seattle, so I figured it was safe to quickly grab it. What I found wasn't a file. It was an email from someone named Jasper. The subject line read, "Last night." My hands trembled as I clicked it open. The words swam before my eyes, each sentence a dagger twisting in my heart. It was a detailed account of their passionate night together, filled with intimate details that ripped away at the foundation of my marriage. Jasper was a colleague of Willow's, apparently someone she had been working closely with on this major project. I felt a cold wave of nausea wash over me. The room spun, the walls closing in. 15 years. 15 years of love, loyalty, and trust, all reduced to ashes by a single email. I spent the rest of the night in a daze, rereading the email, searching for some explanation, some way to make it all a horrible dream. But it was real. Willow had betrayed me in the most profound way imaginable. The next morning, I called my lawyer. I filed for divorce. When Willow returned from Seattle, I was waiting for her. I handed her the divorce papers, the email printed and highlighted. She stared at them, her face paling, her eyes widening in disbelief. "Bertram, what is this?" She stammered, her voice trembling. "You know exactly what it is, Willow," I said, my voice flat, devoid of emotion. "I know about Jasper. I know about everything." She started to cry, begging for forgiveness, claiming it was a mistake, a moment of weakness. But her words were hollow, meaningless. The damage was done. The trust was broken. There was no going back. "I loved you, Willow," I said, my voice barely a whisper. "I gave you everything, and you threw it all away for him." She tried to touch me, but I recoiled. I couldn't bear to be near her. The woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew, was gone, replaced by a stranger, a liar, a cheat. The divorce was swift and brutal. I didn't fight her on anything. I just wanted it over. I wanted her out of my life. After the divorce, I sank into a deep depression. I lost weight. I stopped sleeping. I couldn't focus on my work. My friends tried to help, but I pushed them away. I was consumed by anger, sadness, and a profound sense of loss. One day, my friend Albin, a private investigator, came to see me. He had been helping me gather evidence for the divorce, and he had uncovered something else, something that made my blood run cold. "Bertram," he said, his voice grave, "I think you need to see this." He showed me a series of bank statements, wire transfers, and emails. They revealed a complex web of financial transactions between Willow, Jasper, and a shell corporation in the Cayman Islands. It turned out that Willow and Jasper weren't just having an affair. They were embezzling money from her firm. They were using the major project as a cover for their criminal activities. I was stunned. I couldn't believe that Willow, the woman I loved, was capable of such deceit. The betrayal cut even deeper than the affair. She had not only cheated on me, but she had also used me, manipulated me, and lied to me for her own selfish gain. I decided to take action. I contacted the authorities and provided them with all the evidence Albin had gathered. The FBI launched an investigation, and within weeks, Willow and Jasper were arrested and charged with fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy. The trial was a media circus. Willow and Jasper tried to blame each other, but the evidence was overwhelming. They were both found guilty and sentenced to lengthy prison terms. As I sat in the courtroom listening to the verdict, I felt a strange sense of detachment. I had wanted justice and I had gotten it, but it didn't bring me any satisfaction. It didn't erase the pain, the anger, the sadness. It didn't bring back the woman I had loved. After the trial, I decided to leave Chicago. I sold my apartment, packed my belongings, and moved to a small town in Montana. I needed a fresh start, a place where I could escape the memories of Willow and the wreckage of my marriage. I bought a small cabin in the mountains and spent my days hiking, fishing, and sketching. I slowly began to heal, to rebuild my life, to find peace within myself. One day, a letter arrived from Willow. It was a long, rambling apology, filled with remorse and regret. She admitted that she had made a terrible mistake, that she had been blinded by greed and ambition. She begged for my forgiveness. I read the letter, but I didn't feel anything. The anger and resentment were gone, replaced by a quiet indifference. I had moved on. I had found a new life, a new purpose. I didn't need her forgiveness, and I didn't need to forgive her. I wrote her a short, simple reply. "I wish you well," I said. And then I closed the book on that chapter of my life. Years later, I met someone new. Her name was Coralia. She was a kind, compassionate woman who loved me for who I was, flaws and all. We married and we built a new life together, filled with love, trust, and mutual respect. I never forgot Willow. But I learned to forgive her, not for her sake, but for my own. I learned that betrayal can be a devastating blow, but it doesn't have to define you. You can survive it. You can rebuild. You can find love again. And sometimes the greatest revenge is simply living well.